Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Of course, my name is Kent. The channel is EOS San Diego. And what you're looking at is you're looking at the sunset behind me, which actually is the last sunset of 2019. So this is it. Sunset's 2019. Tomorrow morning, it'll be 2020, and it'll be a whole new year. And as far as I'm concerned, good riddance to 2019. It hasn't exactly been the greatest cryptocurrency year, and of course we're heavily involved with cryptocurrencies. So when we don't have a good crypto year, in my opinion, we didn't have a good year. So 2019 has not been a good year. I looked at the price of EOS last year about this time, and it's almost exactly what it is right now. It was $2.52. And I think when I just looked at it a second ago, it was $2.58. So literally the price in 1 year has not changed. It's been pretty flat throughout the whole year. So I'm going to title this video, and the reason I'm going to title this is because I really think that obviously there's things that need to be fixed with EOS, and I want to title a video why EOS is dying. However, if you clicked on this video to watch that video, that's not the main emphasis of the video. I'm going to talk about what I think is wrong with EOS, why it will be fixed, and why 2020 is going to be a much better year. And I think it's going to start off here pretty quickly. But the reason I say EOS is dying is because there's so many things right now, I believe, in EOS that does not give people a good user experience. If you watch much YouTube videos on the early days of the internet and computers, you'll see a lot of videos about Steve Jobs. I love to watch Steve Jobs videos because Steve Jobs was a very unique individual in the fact that he was not a computer technology coder, or was not someone that could build hardware, but he had visions and he knew what people wanted. And his whole thing was that people have a good experience. He wanted everything to be simple, easy to use, and to have people have a good experiences, which is why the Apple products, the iPhone, the iPad, are all been so successful, because Jobs always focused on the user. I think one of the things right now with EOS is EOS is getting away from the user experience, and EOS is more caught up with the actual things that are confusing people. I mean, nobody wants to hear about RAM. Nobody wants to hear about CPU. Nobody wants to hear about the worker proposal project or plan. Nobody wants to hear about issues with about the blockchain. I mean, the blockchain has got to be an easy, unintimidating experience where people feel like they can use it, that feels like it has value, and they can understand it well enough to where they don't have to think about it to use it. They don't have to think about whether the network is congested. They don't want to have to think about what's going on with whether they have resources or not. They just want the resources to be there when they use the projects, when they use the applications. And the same thing with the applications. It's got to be easy to build. It's got to be easy to understand. It's got to be easy to maintain. All these things have got to be made simpler for EOS. I mean, as far as the way EOS is structured with the 21 block producers, it's got to be easy to understand. It's got to be easy to understand how to vote. It's got to be easy to understand, don't vote for 30 when you actually have only 21 that are actually block producers. I mean, a lot of this stuff is a little bit confusing. Understandable, because everybody makes things overly complex when they're first trying to understand it and get it together. That's just the way it is. People, the better they understand things, the simpler they can make it, the simpler it can understand. I think EOS is in a stage of where it's overly complex right now. It needs to be simplified. It needs to be easier to understand. The user experience needs to be much easier. And once these things all come into play, then you will see a lot more people using the applications, using the blockchain, building on the blockchain, and things will be a lot more successful. So that's my message for 2020, that things need to be simplified. Things need to be much easier. People need to understand it. People need to know what's going on. People don't, it's so funny because, the thing about EOS is it's based on being able to vote, be able to stake to vote, to have the block, do the block producers, vote for block producer. But what ends up happening is most of the people that are owning the tokens are exchanges who aren't who aren't really investigating or interested in who the block producers are. They're more interested in the rewards being earned, not exactly how the chain is being run. So a lot of this stuff needs to be sorted out. But I don't want to dwell on that too much because I think it will sort its way out. I want to dwell more on the fact that EOS is the only scalable blockchain, the only blockchain that has a chance of making it. And even though it is overly complex, and at this point, I believe things have got to change for EOS to continue to go strong. Not that it's going to die. I've made videos about that before. I don't think EOS is dying. I don't think it's dead. I think it's it's actually taken some. And I don't really even know if it's regressed so much. I would say more rather than regress. I would say it's finding its way in how it should be operated and how it's going to work. And I think it's getting there. And I think that's just obvious with anything. If you follow early stages of any company, any computer like Apple computer, anybody like that, they went through times of turmoil, obviously times of things not working out very well, obviously times of trying to find out how things, the best way for how things would work the best. That's what we're going through right now with EOS. The best way to do things, and that's what it is right now. So hopefully 2020 will be that kind of year. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of other people are looking forward to it. We've built an app on it. The app is up and working. It's called the Challenge application. And actually we're taking a little bit of our own ideas and we're making them a little bit simpler. So if you want to check it out, I can put the link for the Challenge application below. It's a geolocation challenge. Basically you go someplace and you get some challenge tokens. So by putting it on your smartphone, by going somewhere and being someplace at a certain time, and we think we might even eliminate the time issue, but we just being able to just go someplace at a certain place, you may be able to get tokens. So in our thinking, if you can't explain it in just a few words, then it's not something people are going to follow or people are going to do or people are going to participate in. You literally got to explain this stuff just in a few words, a few lines, a few sentences. It can be overly complex. I've listened to some stuff before where I can't follow it, and I would consider myself fairly well experienced with EOS and fairly knowledgeable of the blockchain. And when they tell me stuff, I can't understand it. So everything needs to be simplified, and we'll have a much better 2020. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.